No man is rich enough to buy back his past. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask, and he will tell you the truth. Whenever a man does a thoroughly stupid thing, it is always from the noblest motives. Nothing can cure the soul but the senses, just as nothing can cure the senses but the soul. The old believe everything, the middle-aged suspect everything, the young know everything. The public is wonderfully tolerant. It forgives everything except genius. Man can believe the impossible, but man can never believe the improbable. There is no necessity to separate the monarch from the mob. All authority is equally bad. The moment you think you understand a great work of art, it's dead for you. The well-bred contradict other people. The wise contradict themselves. A man who does not think for himself does not think at all. Experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. Experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. One's real life is so often the life that one does not lead. It is better to be beautiful than to be good. But it is better to be good than to be ugly. Experience is one thing you can't get for nothing. It is better to have a permanent income than to be fascinating. Whenever people agree with me, I always feel I must be wrong. A man's face is his autobiography. A woman's face is her work of fiction. I choose my friends for their good looks, my acquaintances for their good characters, and my enemies for their intellects. A man cannot be too careful in the choice of his enemies. Humanity takes itself too seriously. It is the world's original sin. If the caveman had known how to laugh, history would have been different. A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. The critic has to educate the public, the artist has to educate the critic. One of the many lessons that one learns in prison is that things are what they are and will be what they will be. If you pretend to be good, the world takes you very seriously. If you pretend to be bad, it doesn't. Such is the astounding stupidity of optimism. Always forgive your enemies, nothing annoys them so much. If one cannot enjoy reading a book over and over again, there is no use in reading it at all. The pure and simple truth is rarely pure and never simple. The books that the world calls immoral are books that show the world its own shame. I am so clever that sometimes I don't understand a single word of what I am saying. A good friend will always stab you in the front. Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions, their lives are mimicry, their passions are quotation. Anyone who lives within their means suffers from a lack of imagination. Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. I think God, in creating man, somewhat overestimated his ability. I think God, in creating man, somewhat overestimated his ability. I think God, in creating man, somewhat overestimated his ability. Never love anyone who treats you like you're ordinary. Laughter is not at all a bad beginning for a friendship, and it is far the best ending for one. When a man has once loved a woman, he will do anything for her except continue to love her. One can survive everything nowadays except death, and live down everything except a good reputation. Our ambition should be to rule ourselves, the true kingdom for each one of us, and true progress is to know more, and be more, and to do more. Beauty is the only thing that time cannot harm. Philosophies fall away like sand, creeds follow one another, but what is beautiful is a joy for all seasons, a possession for all eternity. Life imitates art far more than art imitates life. Man is a rational animal who always loses his temper when he is called upon to act in accordance with the dictates of reason. No woman should ever be quite accurate about her age. It looks so calculating. Women love us for our defects. If we have enough of them, they will forgive us everything, even our gigantic intellects. It is absurd to divide people into good and bad. People are either charming or tedious. Selfishness is not living as one wishes to live, it is asking others to live as one wishes to live. I have the simplest tastes. I am always satisfied with the best. An excellent man, he has no enemies and none of his friends like him. An excellent man, he has no enemies and none of his friends like him. The nicest feeling in the world is to do a good deed anonymously and have somebody find out. A thing is not necessarily true because a man dies for it. The only way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it. Morality is simply the attitude we adopt towards people we personally dislike. It takes a great deal of courage to see the world in all its tainted glory and still to love it. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. A bore is someone who deprives you of solitude without providing you with company. They've promised that dreams can come true, but forgot to mention that nightmares are dreams, too. Behind every exquisite thing that existed, there was something tragic. Anybody can sympathize with the sufferings of a friend, but it requires a very fine nature to sympathize with a friend's success. Society often forgives the criminal, it never forgives the dreamer. In this world there are only two tragedies. One is not getting what one wants, and the other is getting it. When I was young I thought that money was the most important thing in life. Now that I am old I know that it is. Life is never fair, and perhaps it is a good thing for most of us that it is not. When one is in love, one always begins by deceiving oneself, and one always ends by deceiving others. That is what the world calls a romance. I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. I want to use them, to enjoy them, and to dominate them. Hatred is blind, as well as love. The only difference between the saint and the sinner is that every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. The true mystery of the world is the visible, not the invisible. The good ended happily, and the bad unhappily. That is what fiction means. Education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. Questions are never indiscreet, answers sometimes are. There are many things that we would throw away if we were not afraid that others might pick them up. Keep love in your heart. A life without it is like a sunless garden when the flowers are dead. One should always play fairly when one has the winning cards.